Hello, Adam. This will be some milestone one video feedback for you. I generally follow the rubrics so you can open them up. They're fairly short for 3.2 and 3.3. And what else? I'll end with the journal entry of last week just so that we refocus on the client. These are nice, crisp wireframes. And so, good job on that. It gives us a very clear idea of how you might organize your page. I also like that you've included a footer. It's not necessary in this class, but it really is an essential part of every HTML page where you have the head, the body, and the footer. Arranging the navigation, this is ambitious, just so you know, Adam. I don't want you to feel stressed or too stressed towards the end. A maximum maybe of 5 links, unless you're feeling really energetic, but just to save yourself from stressing out. And I'd rather see maybe 4 completed sub pages or child pages than 6 placeholder pages. But anyway, on to navigation. I think where you have the navigation towards the top is probably the most practical. Ranging down the side risks having part of it truncated on some formats. You don't know how this is going to appear, say on a small portable device like a phone. And for that reason, as you upload things, check them out on your phone. See what happens to everything, your navigation scheme, how that transforms itself on a small device throughout the rest of the class. Something to keep in mind, don't stress about it, but it's always fun, I think. It's like, aha, when you see one of your pages on your phone. And also, pushing the navigation down towards the middle of the page is probably not the best idea. So maybe the arrangement where the logo is off to the side is better. Here's where the eye focuses first, this upper left corner. And then, I don't know, images, is this to indicate an image? Are these links? If you use imagery, make sure that you have a underlying grid. For example, there's no reason why this shouldn't line up with this. Be aware of these awkward white spaces that you're creating. Better to have images go off the edge, it's called bleeding, or butt up to each other, but if you get this awkward maze-like white interstices, it can break up a page. Now, I realize these are wireframes, and how can they not be this way, right? But whether you bleed or whether you put frames around your images is an important feature, and all of it will go, the visual details will go towards shaping the tenor, I guess, the voice of your site, which should be based in your vision statement from the assets. Adam, this is the URL that you gave me, and just to let you know, it is, I looked at your, this hasn't changed, I think, from last week. I would expect to see probably a new HTML. This is what I see here. This is, I believe, from 2.3. Well, no matter. Hey, while I'm here, I'm looking at this in Safari for the Macintosh, and I can see the code by going up under Develop, it's off screen, and scrolling down to Page Source. That means HTML code, Page Source. I wanted to point out something. I didn't mean to alarm you last week, but there is this script that GeoCities places on your page, and I just wanted to highlight that. It's there for a reason. It's there to make your page visible and searchable. And then here's something else that GeoCities places by default on your HTML when you view it live. It's nicely commented. That was one of the achievements. Now, in terms of formatting the head, though, using inline styling, I don't see that. And so, if you're having questions about that, or if you're stalled on that particular problem, let me know, or post something in the general discussions, because you're not the only one who's going to, or who has had difficulty with formatting type. Now, for your milestone, I note that you had the beginnings of a file management system. You created a GRA 310 folder, and but you'll have to, as on your desktop, your PC, you'll have to think of some way where you're not always overwriting that index.html. Now, I see that you have renamed it something. That's one way of doing it. So I see evidence of file management, but what I don't see is a coded sitemap. And you can go back to week 2 to see there was a video demonstration, I think, in the general discussions board about what that might look like. Plus, I think there was an announcement where I had a HTML sitemap. That's just a list of your links that will become the basis of your navigation. Adam, I like you make a narrative out of the journal entry, rather than just systematically address each of the discussion prompts. You make a readable narrative, so I appreciate that. And you ask some questions in your list of questions, to the client, which I guess are askable, but you may inherit assets, which would include branding, which would probably include the name, and they may be attached to those previously developed visual assets. The logo, the tenor of the copy, the vision statement, perhaps isn't changing. So there are things that you will inherit that you can't really negotiate. No, I shouldn't say that you can't negotiate, but you have to be very artful in your negotiation. And there's, you have to be aware of project creep, where something goes beyond its parameters. That could lead to other things like operational conflicts and so forth. Lastly, Adam, keep your eyes open for tools that are accessible to designer types like ourselves, technological tools. There are resources out there for everyone, such as the regarding demographics, such as the U.S. Census. There's Nielsen, and then Google has a lot of analytic tools too. I look forward to seeing you put your site together.